Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This video is dedicated to all of the coincidence theorists and the brainwashed Christians who vote Republican every year based on abortion. All of these Christians who vote based on abortion, at the same time, they always vote for these candidates who are warmongers and talk so big about killing others, dropping bombs on others, going to war with others. These same candidates who are so war hungry, you never hear them talk about the poor, doing what's right for the poor, helping the poor, helping people get on better feet. You never hear that. You think Jesus would come here on earth and vote for Donald Trump? Do you think Donald Trump even really cares about abortion? Did you hear his remark in the debate about ripping it from a baby's womb? He's a crude, awful man. He called himself the pussy grabber. Said because he's a celebrity, he can just grab any woman's pussy. They love it. They can't do anything about it. You think that's what Jesus would endorse? I don't get it with American Christians. I was raised a Christian. The reason I stopped being a Christian is because I saw all the Christians were insane. Exactly what I'm explaining right now. Nobody wants abortion. Abortion is an ill consequence of this world we live in. If we lived in a better world, if we helped create a better world instead of a world full of more war and needless fear and tyranny, if we helped create a better world, there would be less abortions. Abortions are a consequence of the things that are wrong in this world. And you see, overwhelmingly, it's poor people who have more abortions than any other group. And it all comes with the territory. And if you're not from those communities, you can't judge it from a distance. You want to solve abortion, it's not with politicians. It's with starting to make actions to make the world a better place. I get so sick of listening to Christians explain why they voted for the Republicans because all they vote on is abortion. They don't care about anything else. I mean, just think about how crazy it is. If you think life is so important, how come you only apply this thinking to unborn babies? I understand your argument that everyone deserves a chance in the world. But some women get abortions because they're raped. Some women who are very poor and already have children they can't take care of, they're struggling to take care of, they don't want to have another child. They don't want another child to suffer in the world. I know what you're saying. Well, they should be more responsible. And I agree. I completely agree. But overwhelmingly, people aren't responsible, so we have to become realistic about things. And also, when you outlaw abortion, you know what happens? Then you have more violent, gruesome abortions happening in the world. Instead of trained professionals, what's the phrase? Back alley abortions. This is such a nonsensical way to vote, and I know at least a third of this country votes this way, so I know I'm talking to at least a third of the people. Donald Trump, crude, disgusting human being. He said his favorite Bible verse is an eye for an eye. He couldn't name any other ones. How can a Christian say their favorite Bible verse is an eye for an eye? Jesus said that's not what to do. That comes from the Jewish Old Testament. And of course, Donald Trump, a Zionist, said he's the biggest friend of Israel in the world. Of course, it's these Zionist Jews who run our media, who run our elections, who run Hollywood, who mock us. So anyway, if you're a Christian, you should be familiar with the book of Revelation, the final book, the book of prophecy and destruction before the return of Jesus. Here we have the Trump-Pence. If you read Revelation, the warnings are trumpets. Let's talk about Trump-Pence, what's going on right now, the Holy Bible, Revelation, this symbolism of the wall. The Freemasons believe in divide and conquer. Donald Trump, a Freemason, building a wall, a symbol of division. How much is this wall going to cost? Imagine if you could see the bill for the wall. Do you think that's the best thing we could do with our resources as a country? Build a wall to keep out the... this whole thing about the Mexicans coming over here and causing all these problems, it's really all part of a purposefully orchestrated agenda. Okay, this is a deeper topic. The wall's not the solution is the point. There's so many things we could do in this world. Holy text messages. There's so many things we could do in this world besides build a wall. You know, why not, as a nation that's wealthy, which we are, we invest all this money in war and defense. We literally give Israel $104 million every day. Obama just signed a record $38 billion deal to give Israel for money for the next year. Divide $38 billion by 365, you'll get $104 million. We're giving Israel $104 million a day. What if we invested that money in our neighbor Mexico and helped them build up, their own employment so that their workforce didn't have to come over here? And what if we structured it in a way so that, when eventually their facilities are up and running and they're producing whatever from food to whatever, there's some negotiation. We get a discount back when it's sold to U.S. consumers. We could do these things. That's what business is, making transactions, compromises, commerce. Putting up the wall. Donald Trump's trying to scare you, saying things like Mexicans are doing all the raping while also being caught on camera saying he's a pussy grabber. I mean, what a sick pervert, what a hypocrite, what a disgusting man that all you Christians want to vote for. Because he said he's not for ripping babies out of the womb. His words. The words of a crude man. Anyway, do you think Jesus, that would be his solution to help out the neighbor? To build the wall? Stay over there with your problems. You can knock down a wall. Walls get knocked down. They got knocked down 27 years to the day that the Mr. Wall, Donald Trump, got elected. This is all part of the mocking. This is all part of how we're ruled over by this gang of Freemasons and Zionist Jewish bankers. Back and forth, nonstop. Think about Obama in 2008. People thought the healing was going to come on. Things were going to get better. We're making a step. Now look. One step forward, one monumental step backwards with this Donald Trump campaign. This is rhetoric about building a wall from Rush Limbaugh, Michael Weiner Savage, Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, all these right-wing talking heads from the 90s talking about building the wall between Mexico. It's evolved, people. Anyway, Trump-Pence, the final book of the Bible, is the 27th book of the New Testament, which the Christians go by. The book that speaks against an eye for an eye, Donald Trump's favorite Bible verse. The first book of the New Testament is Matthew. Matthew equals 27 in Gematria. The 27th book is Revelation, where the warnings are trumpets, Trump-Pence. Holy Bible, which ends with Revelation, equals 45. Berlin Wall, 45. Donald Trump, the 45th president, elected on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. He might not make it to Inauguration Day. There is an assassination foreshadowed for Donald Trump. I do not think he's going to make it through his first term. It's going to be the next psyop, the assassination, the staged, planned, next chapter of the agenda. For a year and a half up to this, it's been the ridiculous cramming down our throats of Donald Trump, this perverse man who has something horrible to say about every group. Speaking of Jesus, he only really spoke against one group of people in the Bible. Well, he spoke against the greedy and the selfish and the rich, but he spoke against what was going on in the synagogues. Who goes to synagogue? The Zionists, that's who. People who run your media. Anyway, notice that Donald Trump's VP, Mike Pence, 45, like this race. If Donald Trump were to die before Inauguration Day, Mike Pence would become the 45th president. And it could happen. And it will all be staged and scripted. I could see Mike Pence as the president. I don't typically, they're all puppets and sellouts, but at least the way Mike Pence presents himself, it's respectable. Donald Trump presents himself like a pig. I mean, did anybody watch the debates? Do you remember how... I don't like Hillary Clinton at all. Let's be clear about that, too. Donald Trump constantly talking over Hillary. Hillary was pretty patient and put up with it. And there were maybe one or two times where she tried to talk over him, and both times he would snap at her and say, it's his turn to be quiet. I mean, he just shows he's not the right type of person. You're supposed to treat other people the way you want to be treated. Donald Trump's a bitch. That's what a bitch is, what Donald Trump is. talking over people, being rude. Then when they do it back, stop it, shoo, it's my turn. That's a bitch. And unfortunately, the United States is a nation full of bitches. That's why they voted for this motherfucker. Such ignorant people in this nation. I saw this when I was 18 years old. That was in 2001 when George W. Bush was elected. And really, I was 17 when he was elected. I couldn't even vote. Saw it when I was 17. Having major deja vu with George W. Bush and Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he doesn't have that thing like George W. Bush, though. Remember George W. Bush? There was something at least comical about that guy. Donald Trump just makes me want to vomit every time I see him. Anyhow, back to the topic, Revelation, Trump-Pence. The date Trump was born, a date with 66 numerology. Revelation's the 66th book of the Bible. Remember, if you count every number 1 through 11, it sums to 66. 11 times 11 is 121. Revelation equals 121. New York, date of establishment, has the Revelation coding. New York's the 11th state. Those 11s connect to Revelation. Hillary and Trump, both in New York. Hillary was in Philadelphia, which we'll talk more about, named from the book of Revelation for her convention. From Donald Trump's convention, July 18th to Election Day, was 113 days. That is the number from Scottish Rite Freemasonry. It's also connected to the word trumpet, the symbol that warns in Revelation. We're talking about Trump-Pence and Revelation. Donald Trump is mother from Scotland. Scottish Rite Freemasonry running the show in the U.S. George Washington, a Scottish Rite Freemason. Remember the name George Washington equals 187, like the homicide code? The date the Cleveland Convention began was 18/7, just like 187, and that was exactly 187 days before Inauguration Day. The day Trump turned 70 years old, 7 months and 7 days, like 777. Order out of chaos, 777, the Masonic motto in the language of gematria. Mainstream, dishonest, 113. Trumpets, the plural, has gematria of 132. That's the number of rooms in the White House. If you don't believe me, look it up. 132 rooms in the White House. We got the Trump-Pence team coming there. Washington also has the same gematria as Revelation. It became the capital after Philadelphia and New York. New York has major Revelation connections. Philadelphia, named from the book of Revelation. This nation created from Revelation. It is a mocking of the people from the beginning. And the reason I think that they have chosen the book of Revelation to code this nation by in so much of our history, as I've been showing for 3 years, this is just the latest. The reason I think they do this is because Revelation is the book of prophecy and destruction before the return of Jesus. And look at what you have here in the United States. You have so many Christians who see all these horrible things. They think Jesus is about to return. They think all they can do in the world is pray and wait on their knees and go vote for Donald Trump so there's no more abortions. And look at what goes on all this time. Those of you Christians who are waiting for Jesus, you need to realize that it's time to act. We need to put an end to the lies and the madness. If you want to stop abortion in this world, we need to take the world back from the people who keep this world so sick and perverse. We could end poverty. There's enough wealth in this world for everyone to live happily. Imagine if we just used the resources we all had and lived together and worked together and all worked on growing food locally so there was enough food to feed us. There's already enough stuff, enough shelter, enough technology, enough knowledge, enough skills. We have it all right here. If we all started working together to build a better world, put an end to all these problems. You know, people would still, sure, get pregnant when it's not meant to be, but you know what? If most people got pregnant and they weren't ready, but they were in a community that loved them and cared about them and they knew other people could help raise the child, probably wouldn't be the need for abortion, you know? That's the world we need to create. Not keep voting for Republicans who keep creating more and more poverty, which creates more and more abortion. New York, the date it was established is July 26, 1788. Notice that Revelation 7:26 and 1:21, again the square root of 121:11, Date of establishment, date with 121 numerology. Also 138, the name Donald Trump, the big way, equals 138. The small way, 48, like Wall. Trump alone's 88, like the year of establishment. With regards to the Bible and the numbers and Donald Trump, check this out. Revelation 13:5 talks about the beast ruling for 42 months. 13:5. The key of David in Gematria sums to 135. The date Philadelphia was established was a date with 135 numerology. Philadelphia is written about in regards to the key of David. David has the same Gematria as Hillary. Hillary had her convention in Philadelphia, where the reference is to the key of David, which is somehow seemingly syncing up with this reference about 42. Bill was the 42nd president, Hillary, first lady at that time. NYC, New York City, NYC equals 42. Both contestants in NYC last night in Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen for your end time symbolism destruction. From the day Hillary had her convention in Philadelphia, which was July 25th, 7 days after Trump, to the election was 106 days. That's the number for prophecy and destroy. And if you missed my work on that, all the people taking the stage had 106 name gematria, birth numerology. Arnold Schwarzenegger was even there endorsing Hillary, who in the 2000s said only girly men vote Democrat. Then in this year, he was campaigning for Hillary. So many Republicans went for Hillary. It's all symbolism. You know, they're shaking everybody up, thinking, oh my goodness, things have changed. You know? Some people are thinking a revolution's underway. Trump has those parallels to George Washington, who came out of the American Revolution. It's all tributes. Anyway, 106 days from Philadelphia to the election, which she ended up losing. That date that it began, July 25th, can be written 25/7, like 257, which is the 55th prime number. The date of the election had 55 numerology. That is a number attributed to Satan. And again, the people running the show, named from Revelation, are the synagogue of Satan, the false Jews. So, no doubt, that is what the tribute is. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, they are agents of this gang. They work for in a synagogue of Satan. It is Freemasonry, it is Zionism, it is the Jesuits. People call it the Illuminati, the New World Order. It says the beast will rule for 42 months, coming back to 42. The word beast has gematria 47, like time, like president, like authority. 42 is very specific to the Bible. The first printed Bibles are 42-line Bibles. They were also called Gutenberg Bibles. Notice Gutenberg's 45, like Holy Bible. 42-line Bibles. The Freemason compass and square, the Freemasons who pride themselves on being the keepers of knowledge, the invisible architects of society, their symbol's the big G, which represents 42 in English gematria. The New Testament, if you've never read it, the first book, Matthew, remember Matthew 27, the first of 27 books. Matthew begins with 42 names that lead up to Jesus, the 42 generations before Jesus. New Testament 42, just like Freemason 42. New World 42, think about Christopher Columbus. Manifest Destiny. Manifest Destiny equals 66, just like Empire. Manifest Destiny. They came over here. They said the people that lived here, they were savages. They weren't sophisticated. They didn't have the Holy Bible. They were godless. New Testament, New World. The word math 42. The word war 42. World War 42. Building 42. The Freemasons are builders. Architect 42. I see what word I forgot to put up here already. Knowledge. Knowledge equals 42. They pride themselves on being the keepers of knowledge. February, the bizarre month, 42. See my work on February. There's a whole lot to it. Economics, 42. History, 42. Who's writing the history books? The victors. The word victor equals 33, like the level of master masonry. Just like how masonry equals 33, secrecy 33. Donald Trump became a celebrity in 1984. He'll become president in 2017 if he makes it, 33 years later. Zionism 42. For many years, the same gang has been running the show. It's been Freemasonry. It's been the Jewish people controlling banking, commerce. They've been doing it all this time by the numbers. United States of America, the English language, the New World Order agenda, going to the Americas, soon after spreading English throughout the world. We're living out an agenda. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, both agents in this agenda. Urban Dictionary, they have what the definition of Trumpets is. Look at this. Look at this definition. Trump-Pence. The return on investment of a con, bribe, theft, or fraud. This could include the direct financial benefit of a scam or plot, but also can be used to represent the emotional boost a narcissist or sociopath gets from feeling superior to those they have manipulated and tricked. You know, Donald Trump, it's so obvious he's that type of person. Oh yeah, I'm against abortion. I'll say that to get votes. Donald Trump doesn't care about abortion. Donald Trump is a crude, awful individual, and he has shown the whole world that. I mean, after he got called out in the debate for his crude remarks, he hardly even apologized for it. He said it was, just one incident from a long time ago. He's a changed man, as if he shouldn't have been old enough 11 years ago. Nearly 60 years old, he doesn't know better. It's all a show, though, people. It's all a mocking. The people who run this world, they love to mock the Christians that they have under their thumb. Here they use this word in a sentence. You should always make sure the target of your scam isn't overly intelligent. Then you can play on their fears to maximize the potential trumpets. Donald Trump said he loved the uneducated. This morning, CNN, they had this huge stat up for supposedly uneducated Americans and how overwhelmingly they voted for Trump. I don't subscribe to that. That's just mocking and stereotyping. I'm someone with a master's degree. The smartest people I know in this world, they haven't even gone to college. Overwhelmingly. I used to work with homeless teenagers. Those were the brightest teenagers I ever met. Free thinking, ahead of their time. We value everything wrong in this world. Just looking at wealthy people. Valuing materialism. If you missed my video on Lady Gaga's protest today, I'll link it in the description. Until next time, Truth Seeker.